everyone, Dana here. Today I would like to talk about how do we bounce back? How do we bounce back after an injury, after an illness? I've had 2 clients reach out to me in just the last week, and one client said she was suffering from sciatica and her every intention of being able to lose weight and exercise regularly was sort of going out the window because the exercises were really exacerbating her sciatica. And another client reached out and said, I've got knee problems, I've got wrist problems, and I'm just unsure of what to do that won't hurt my injuries. And you can imagine, or you may have even been in that position yourself, where the intention is, I want to get healthy, I want to get fit, I want to get strong, I want to make my body well again, I want all the energy, the vitality, lose this excess body weight, but the injuries or the illness has really stopped me in my tracks and I just don't know how to move forward. So if you can relate to that at all, today what I would like to share with you is the 7 steps that I take or I recommend my clients take to be able to help you to heal, to get back on track. Yeah? All right, well, let's begin. We often think, just do what used to work in the olden days, but it just doesn't work these days, does it? Our bodies don't repair like they did when we were younger, and it's just not the same. So the very first step that I ask my clients to make is to diagnose what's actually going on for you. And have you ever heard the saying, a problem well stated is a problem half solved? Well, I am a true believer of that, although I'm not a quick adopter. I will share the story that when I had my firstborn, Chelsea, I suffered a lower back injury, and I don't know if it was from the epidural, no idea, but all I know is post that pregnancy, I had lower back issues that really have aggravated me right through to my mid-50s. There I am now. And, it was only last year that I said to myself, self, what is actually the diagnosis here? Do you have bulging disc? What is going on? And so I chose to go and get the tests needed to discover what is actually happening for me in my lower back. Well, that was a game changer because now I know what I'm dealing with. So I'm certainly not here to make judgment, but what I do know is my clients that go and get a diagnosis pinpoint what the problem is, well, then we're able to sit back and go, okay, we know what we're dealing with here, and these are the steps needed to help us to be able to bounce back, to get back on track. So step 1 is get a diagnosis, understand what you're dealing with, pinpoint the problem. Happy days. Okay. So step 2 is now you have identified what you are dealing with. Step 2 is decision. Because the reality is you may have come to a crossroad at this point where you can choose to continue on your health, fitness, and wellness journey, or you can choose to stop. So step 2 is the control is with you. And I ask my clients to decide, how would you like to move forward? Do you want to keep progressing with your health, fitness, and wellness, or do you choose to stop? Life is all about making good decisions. And my clients that choose to progress often find it was one of the best decisions in their life. Not to say it's an easy decision, but often the best decision. So step 2 is deciding, am I going to progress and take it one step at a time, or am I going to stop and allow my body to potentially unravel, become weaker, put on more weight, lose my fitness, but ultimately the choice is always you. And it is important that you make that decision. Okay, step 3 is a goodie. And, I'm going to say here that the secret to truly bouncing back is having an unwavering devotion to motion. What do I mean by that? It's all about you've chosen to take the steps back to healing your body for whatever reason you got yourself off track. And the journey can be challenging at times. And you need to find that inner strength, that unwavering devotion to movement and to looking after your health, fitness, and wellness. So it allows you to become resilient. It allows you to really be hopeful and to really be able to continue in the journey of staying plugged in through these next steps required to bring you back on track. So that would be my next step, is a devotion to motion. And for me, that means no matter what, I will continue to exercise. The exercise may look different to what I'm used to, but I choose to continue, whether it's rehabilitative exercise, core exercise, flexibility exercise, cardio exercise, listening to what my body needs at the time of where I'm currently at. And I have a devotion to motion. Recently I shared that I had a hamstring injury and I had a shoulder injury. So I had a torn hamstring, I had bone floating at the insertion between my hamstring and my glute, and I had a partial tear in my shoulder. As I explained to a client, I never missed a day of exercise. However, my exercise changed. So rather than me lifting heavy weights or doing my fast runs or pushing heavy weight with my legs, I was now using resistance band, my own body weight, very gentle exercises, but I continued to have the devotion to motion. It wasn't about I stop my exercise. It was about how now do I exercise to support my body in being able to heal, to be able to get back. Okay, the next step I find challenging also. You can obviously listen to this going, well, she's a bit of a work in progress. Well, you would be right. So the next step is being patient. Nothing in nature blooms all year long, correct? And it goes through seasons, and our body goes through seasons. And so if we're going through the season of having to build our body back up, we need to be patient in that journey, because sometimes we can feel like we're treading water, we're not getting anywhere. But the reality is giving our body the time that it needs to create the healing to allow us to progress in the future. So it allows us to practice optimism, practice patience, practice curiosity, and just having that sense that I'm choosing to create an environment for my body to heal. It may mean very gentle, may mean very slow, it may mean one day at a time, but that is your next step, patience. So now you've got your program going and you are being patient, and it is important in this next step, which is step 5, to continue to test and measure. I always say to my clients that progress, transformation happens just outside your comfort zone. When we are rehabilitating or bouncing back or getting back on track, it's imperative that we listen to our body. Is it telling us we've had enough? Is it telling us that we need to rest a little bit longer than we normally would? Or is it telling us, you know what, I'm feeling a little bit better. I need to push myself that little bit more. So the way that we test and measure is we listen to our body in our daily workouts, and we also, once a week, we reflect. We reflect on what we did well. We reflect on how we could have improved, and then we create a plan to move forward. And that moving forward may mean I'm going to switch it up in the following 7 days, or it may mean I'm going to continue with where I'm at because my body feels like it still needs that support, or it may even need backing off. It is all about continuing to listen, test and measure, and then change it as you need to, and always in mind that this is a little project and you are continuing to put the jigsaw puzzle together. Sometimes the jigsaw puzzle needs to take a side road and then come back up onto the highway, and that's okay too, because we're practicing patience and we're all different, we're all unique, and it is just a matter of, taking it very, very slowly. So step 6 is progression. And as I say, transformation happens just outside our comfort zone. And if we choose not to progress, we never really get the body back on track, because we're always sort of at that bounce effect. I often say, I have certain clients that say to me, oh, I do lots of exercise, I stretch every day and I walk, and they're not looking at the 4 pillars of health. They're not worrying so much about their muscle strength, or they're not worrying so much about their cardiovascular health, but they're very focused on their core and their flexibility. Well, that's not progress. Progress is bringing our body into a place that allows us to focus not only on our cardiovascular health, but also our muscle strength, our core, our posture, and also our mobility and flexibility. So constantly progressing with the big picture in mind of, is my body ready to encompass the 4 pillars of health? And the last step I say to my clients is just checking in as to, is your body healed yet? We constantly repeat what we don't repair. And so if you don't repair an injury well, or you become a bit lax and don't concentrate on correct technique or consistency with your workouts and your rehab, what will potentially happen is you will spiral backwards. So you'll undo all the good work that you've actually done, because we will often find our body will repeat what we don't repair. So it will repeat an injury, but it may come in a different area. So I'll often find if a client has a right knee problem, it becomes a left lower back problem and becomes a right shoulder problem. And it's because posturally they haven't been in balance, because they haven't repaired the initial problem of the knee. So then the lower back goes, and then the shoulder goes, and then the neck goes, and then it's like, oh my goodness, I'm dealing with multiple injuries. So bringing healing into complete fruition, I believe, is the last and important step to bouncing back. All right, well, I wanted to put this together just to help you understand that we all have the potential to bounce back. I've worked with acquired brain injuries in wheelchairs, unable to walk, been able to get them to bounce back. So it's not a matter of, well, I'm unique, I can't bounce back. We can all bounce back, but it is a matter of taking the step. Taking the first step, and last but not least, surrounding yourself with people that can help motivate, encourage, and support you each step of the way. So I always call that a community, and I believe women supporting women our age is a fantastic way of supporting each other and lifting each other up. So get part of a community. If you're not already a part of my community, join us on Fitness with Dana on our Facebook group, and that is where we together as women are there to give each other motivation, inspiration, support, and help each other to feel good most days. All right, girls, well, have a wonderful day. I hope that was helpful, and always reach out one step at a time. We got this, and I'll talk to you next time.